Good morning, party people. It is a Tuesday morning. It's like 10 o'clock. I am unwashed, but I'm here to give you the quality content that you crave. So, I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone. I'm gonna make myself something to eat, and I'm gonna teach you how to make a cheese omelet. It is a simple recipe, but it's very satisfying. I know omelets can be a little bit intimidating because of the flippy part, but don't worry, we're gonna get there together. This is a recipe that was taught to me by my husband, and he learned it from his dad. So it is a generational omelet recipe. So buckle up and let's get cooking. So to start off with, I have assembled all of the things I'll need. It helps to have everything close to hand so that I'm not scrambling while I'm cooking. But I've got 2 eggs right here. I have salt and pepper, butter. I have my cheese, of course. And then I have Tabasco sauce and tarragon, which will come in handy later. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crack the eggs in a bowl. 2 eggs is usually what I prefer. You can make a small omelet with just 1. You can make a giant omelet with 3 eggs. You can also do what I usually do, for my husband at least. He is trying to avoid egg yolks right now. So you can make an omelet entirely out of egg whites just by taking the yolks out. Or you can do them with like half of the amount of yolk. Like if I were gonna make an omelet for him, I would use 2 eggs, but I would only use 1 yolk. Alright, so let's get cracking. Bear with me, y'all. I have never tried to do this one-handed before. I have never made a cooking video before. I don't know the trick to crack an egg with one hand, so we'll see how this goes. But I like to hit my eggs on the counter, because if you hit them on the side of the bowl, then it's more likely that you will get shell fragments in there. So let's see, pray for me. Oh, I've done it. Oh, you saw it here first, folks. On camera, I've done it. Alright, amazingly, I have got my 2 eggs in my bowl. Now the next step is to, as Bob Ross would say, beat the devil out of it. You want to take a fork and you want to whip these babies using a motion sort of like this, because you want to break up the yolks as much as possible. You just want to get everything nice and smooth so that you'll have an even texture for your omelet. Alright, I've got these mixed up pretty nicely. I'm also super hungry, so I don't want to over mix them because I want to eat. So, next, I'm going to add just a touch of Tabasco sauce. Just regular old Tabasco sauce. Just gives it a little bit of a kick. I don't like to do too much, so I just do a little drop. Maybe 1 more. Okay. Oh, okay. That's plenty. Just gives it a little spice. Okay. Now, my husband likes tarragon in his omelet. So that was how he taught me to make it. I don't really like the tarragon in my omelet. And this is for me. So I'm going to put it back. And I'm just going to use my good old standard salt and pep. Oh, that's a lot of pep. Oopsie doodle. Got some salt in there. Listen, I'm just doing my best. Just like we all are right now. We're all just doing our best. But sometimes cooking something for yourself can be just the satisfying feeling that you need to get through your day. I know that I am certainly guilty of going with whatever is easiest. Last night, I made a frozen pizza, even though I've already had a frozen pizza earlier this week. So, yeah, sometimes we're all like that. But I get a lot of satisfaction out of cooking my own meals. All right, so that's all mixed together nicely with our eggs and our seasonings. Some people also like to add milk. I usually don't, but I think milk can make it a little fluffier if you like that. So next, we're gonna be taking it to the pan. All right, so I like to use an obscene amount of butter because I enjoy butter and life is short, so I'm gonna eat the butter. But also especially because you want your pan to be very smooth, very well oiled. You can obviously use any kind of oil that you like, but I enjoy butter because it's the tastiest. So I just want to make sure that I get the butter like around the sides and coating all of the bottom, because we don't want the egg to stick to the pan if at all possible, because that'll make it really hard to flip. So now the butter's getting hot. I'm just gonna, let's see, I got my trusty gas stove. I'm gonna turn it down a bit. Ideally, the heat should be like a medium heat. Also, I am not a chef. Just to preface this, I'm not a professional. But ideally, you want it to be like a medium heat. You don't want it so hot that the eggs will start burning right away, but you don't want it so low that the eggs are just gonna sit there. So now that we've got our butter going a little bit, I think I've got it on the right heat. I'm going to pour in the egg. Okay, so now at this stage, you just kind of want to keep an eye on it. Once the edges start firming up a little bit, I'm going to be going around the edges. This is also going to be like the hardest part to film, so like, please be kind. So I'm going to go around the edges with my trusty spatula. So I'll go around the edges and just get some of the yolk from the middle. It'll be easier if I just show you. Hang on. All right, we are figuring this out as we go, y'all. I have this, I now have my phone mounted on my spice rack. So, now the edges of my omelet are starting to get to the point where I can raise them up a little bit with my spatula. So, I hope you can see. What I'm doing is I'm lifting up the edge and then I'm tilting the pan so that some of the yolk from on top runs down underneath the edges so that it can get cooked too. Because if you have all of this uncooked yolk just sitting in the middle here, it's going to be harder to flip and it's not going to get cooked as well. If you can get it down under the sides, then you get a nice even cook on all of the egg, and it makes it much easier to flip it. This is not an exact science, obviously, and you do want to be careful about not breaking your egg. Yeah, I've still got some yolk here in the middle that's doesn't want to go anywhere, but I think that's gonna be fine. So I have another tool that I like to use for this part. I have my favorite spatula, quality spatch. And I've got my olive oil spray. I like to actually spray the spatula so that it just makes it that much smoother. And normally I do this part over the sink because I do not have a ton of confidence in my flipping ability. But we're gonna do this together. Okay. So the flipping, obviously the most intimidating part. Some people can do the like just straight up where they flip it in the pan. I am not that talented. I do it the extremely timid way, which is like so. Yeah. Got it. Oh, I'm so glad that went well. I didn't want to have to reshoot this because I want to eat this. So now I've got my omelet flipped, and that means that it's almost done because this really doesn't take very much time at all. So now I am going to sprinkle my cheese. Delicious cheese. Obviously, you can make an omelet with many different things inside. Vegetables, meats, any kind of cheese. You could put whatever you want in an omelet, basically. I like an obscene amount of cheese. Sometimes I like omelets with veggies, but typically I just want a plain cheese omelet. Now that I've sprinkled all my cheese in there, I'm going to flip this over so it makes a little safe pocket for my cheese, protecting it like a soft fluffy blanket. And there we go. That is, honestly, this might be one of the best omelets I've made in a while. It came out really well. So, the next thing that I'm gonna do is turn off my burner. I'm gonna get a plate. And there we go. A delicious omelet. I'm probably going to stick it in the microwave for like 10 seconds just to make sure that all of the cheese inside is properly melted. But with the heat of the pan and the heat of the eggs, it should pretty much melt on its own. So this is my tutorial on making a cheese omelet. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'm gonna go eat my omelet now. I'll see you again soon. Bye.